All right, let's go ahead and talk about the Jaguars going to Baltimore to face the Ravens.
Yes.
You talk about the division. This is an opportunity for the Jaguars to get a win against a team that's been struggling. Now without Steve Smith, what stands out to you fantasy-wise from this matchup? The Jaguars are 7th against the run. The Ravens are 10th against the run. That is the upper echelon of run defenses in terms of fantasy points given up to running backs, but they both stink against the pass.
Yeah, and that's what we see a lot of times, right? Is that you're considered upper echelon against the run defense because you can be passed on so easily. So I don't know that it's really that either of these teams has a fantastic defensive line that's going to stop the run. I expect Forsett to have a very nice game in the running position because he could catch the ball as well. And obviously the ones for both sides, the wide receiver ones on both sides of the ball. Man, do I love it. We talked earlier about Allen Robinson, the target monster. I mean, he's just going to feast in this matchup. And I actually like Kamar Aiken just from a standpoint of he's going to have the most targets. I expect this to be a high-scoring game. I like Flacco and Bortles in this game a lot. So this is a game that should see a lot of points put on the board, and your star players are going to be the ones doing it.
Yeah, I agree. I think Allen Robinson is going to go to the Old Country Buffet and just gorge himself on the Ravens secondary. I love Aiken tremendously this week. And the guys that I actually don't like, because I agree with the run defense numbers on these. I'm a little shaky on Forsett. He's still a 1 for me, but I have my concerns over it. I believe it was Adam Azer was talking about the Jaguars are giving up the lowest yards per carry of any team. So I think the run defense is actually okay.
Dalvin Smith.
It's not just you can pass on the Jags. It's their run defense is actually pretty solid. And same thing with the Ravens, man. Their run defense, they don't have T. Sizzle, clearly. He's been gone all year. But their run defense has held up for the most part throughout the year. So for TJ Yeldon, he's still getting out there, but you got to have expectations where they should be.
Now, that was what I was going to ask you. What is the reverberating effect of Allen Hurns sitting? Wouldn't that mean Julius Thomas and Yeldon might be more involved in the passing game?
Yeah, Julius Thomas, I can see it. We know that the Ravens are kind of known for their tight end defense. As they've been shutting down tight ends throughout the year. But
that's good because I had to face Thomas in one of my leagues. That's good to hear. Thanks, Mike.
You got it, man. But I'm that's not going to stop me from starting Thomas as a lower type option. But it's this game is really about Blake Bortles, Mr. BB himself, and Allen Robinson for me.
I saw a question come in yesterday. A paid question that came in, and someone wanted to know right away. It was an urgent trade question. They've been offered DeMarco Murray for Blake Bortles. So I wanted to give him a robust, long response and felt like I had to send the email as fast as humanly possible. And he already had Cam Newton on his team. Yeah, and I was like, go. Click the button. Yes, do it.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. But speaking of trades, Blake Bortles is a guy I'm trying to acquire in leagues where I can still trade because his end of season schedule is just delicious. It is an apple dumpling from Cracker Barrel, delicious.
I know how much you love those, so that is high praise.
Yes.
All right, the Browns go and face the Steelers this week. The McCown Landry Jones face-off, maybe.
We either get Josh McCown and Big Ben or Johnny Football versus Landry Jones.
How do we possibly adjust the fantasy expectations in this game?
You lower them. You lower them for every player across the board because you're not going to have I don't see this game being one that's going to be, 35-28. This is a game that's going to be some ineptitude. You might want to put a kicker in there. You'd probably get some field goals in this game, but even still, that's not how I predict my kickers. You've got Roethlisberger or not Roethlisberger. You've got Landry Jones with the weapons. So any time you've got Martavis Bryant that could break one off, he's absolutely startable. You always are going to roll with Antonio Brown, but you just have to lower the expectations of what you're thinking. So in your roster, if you're going up against a high-powered guy and you've got those other guys, you might need to think to yourself on those flex decisions, I need someone that's got bigger height potential.
You need to go boom.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, here's a situation you might run into. Now, we're pretty sure Big Ben's out, right? Like, if you gave a percentage, Jason, what would you have it at?
95%.
Mike?
I would put him at a 10% chance to play.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
But you don't know then. Okay, Mike, you don't know for sure. So do you play Eric Decker over Martavis Bryant?
Ooh, that's an interesting question, and it's no, because Landry Jones has thrown 3 touchdowns. Martavis Bryant has caught those 3 touchdowns.
So you're riding that.
I'm not afraid of Bryant
Okay.
against the Browns.
All right, that's a good question. Now, DeAngelo Williams, if he plays, he's a
Oh,
gorgeous,
my goodness.
a gorgeous start.
Yes.
What about the other side of the ball? Is Duke Johnson the guy you would want to roll out there?
If of anybody, it would be Duke. And Crowell, he might not be too bad. Robert Turbin got waived, and Crowell, if you watched the Browns play last week, he had some burst, man. If there's a hole, Crowell was getting through it. So because Turbin is out of the picture, Crowell is back to being an RB3, RB2 maybe type guy. And Duke Johnson, I like him just because he catches so many passes, especially if Josh McCown is playing.
if you're the DeAngelo Williams owner, do you go and pick up Jordan Todman?
No.
No?
Nope.
Okay.
I don't.
Super
I
deep.
don't. I
Sure,
mean,
sure.
I'm not.
Super deep. If you're a super deep league, then you
Just
might
because
as
the
well.
Browns, the actual matchup is delicious. What do you think the chances are that D. Will doesn't play?
I would say 5%.
Okay, so you're sold on him playing.
Yeah, as of now, new information, new opinion. But as of right now, the information that I have, I think he's going to play. And you get to a certain point in the depth chart where you're at the Alfred Blue Chris Polk point of time, and you'd rather start another guy than you would some kind of – it's not like Jordan Todman, I think, is going to come in there and either A, set the world on fire, or B, get every carry and catch. He's just – if he was that kind of player, he probably wouldn't be signed last
Especially
week.
on the
or not
Landry
signed last
Jones
week,
version of the Steelers.
Yeah, so let me think here. Is there anybody else we needed to talk about? I did want to bring up Travis Benjamin because I think he's a little bit – actually a sneaky – play this week if McCown is back, because the Steelers are not a great pass defense in terms of just production given up to wide receivers, and Benjamin has obviously done well this year at times. He might be a very good DFS play because he might be cheap because he's had a couple bad weeks. So do you agree with that assessment?
Yeah, completely agree. If it comes out that Johnny Football is starting, I don't want to play Benjamin. I'm still going to roll Barnage out if Football is the quarterback. If I'm a Barnage owner, I'm really, really hoping that Josh McCown comes back.
Yeah, and if you're in a deep league, both Hartline and Andrew Hawkins, who had concussions, both practice.
Which the sentence of saying, if I'm a Gary Barnage owner, I desperately hope Josh McCown is the quarterback is a sentence that has never been. That has not been put together.
That's all we talked about in draft season. The old McCown-Barnage connection. Remember how much we love that stat?
It's lethal.
It's a really good matchup for tight ends, though. Pittsburgh has
Yeah.
not done well against tight ends, so definitely. Gary Barnage was almost my start of the week, but I figured you guys would say, well, of course you start him. You can't pick him. Too easy.
Today I was the last person to get to the starts of the week, and I didn't look at you guys first because I wanted to just be completely unbiased, and we're going to get to the starts of the week here soon. But, yeah, I picked one or two of the guys that you had, so.
Ooh, then they must be very good.
They must be very good. All right, Panthers, they go and play the Titans in a trap game.
Uh-oh.
No,
What?
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing
it.
It is a little bit of a trap game. Wouldn't you expect the line to be a little different than 5 points? I mean, I know that Tennessee's at home.
No.
All right.
The Panthers are – you mean as in what do you think it should be, the Titans lower? Like,
He's saying
I'm
that
just saying I'm surprised that the undefeated Panthers against the Titans are not favored by more than 5.5, even though it's in Tennessee.
No, I think it's about right.
Okay, so number one fantasy quarterback last week was?
Marcus Mariota.
That is correct, because they included that interception tip pass that counts towards his stats. But, I mean, Mariota's been productive.
He's been okay.
he's been very up and down.
You
Couple
start him
big
at
games.
home against Carolina?
Nope.
No.
Do you
way.
stream him over Fitzpatrick?
No.
No, Fitzmagic, man.
Do you stream him over McCown?
No.
Nope, I would go McCown.
All right.
Yeah,
so
this is a
he's at
terrible
the-
matchup
he's
for
not
him.
start.
Kendall Wright. What's the latest on Kendall Wright? Is
I
playing?
think he's out this week.
Yeah.
I think he's out this week. It's been an MCL sprain has been the report. If he's back, I don't start him anyway.
Right.
So if he's back, it does impact, any hope you had for Dorial Green Beckham having a good game. If you signed Green Beckham this week, you signed him knowing you're probably stashing him and letting him evolve into kind of the better end-of-season schedule. This is a team that plays the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Houston Texans and the Indianapolis Colts. Better matchups in the future coming for Dorial Green Beckham is my point. So let's talk about Jonathan Stewart.
Yeah, I dig him, man. I dig it.
You see an ankle injury report early in the week. He was limited.
That's par for the course.
His
for
ankles
Jonathan
are
Stewart.
not a good. His ankles have been a problem his whole career.
Yeah, which is
My alarms were going off because I'm a guy who lost Arian Foster and Deion Lewis, and now I'm down to two backs, and one of them is Jonathan Stewart.
The Reaper cometh.
Oh,
oh,
it's been a while. One of the things people said in their listener surveys was they wanted you to somehow grief me more for being the Reaper.
Yeah, well, there you go.
So
You got it. Don't like Jonathan Stewart at all here. Tennessee.
Really?
Yeah, really. Tennessee, you might think, they're kind of not that good a team, but their run defense, fantasy-wise, has been excellent. They're the fourth best running defense against fantasy. They don't give up a lot of points. They don't give up touchdowns. Jonathan Stewart kind of doesn't get the touchdown opportunities anyways. So, you've got a game here where I think Cam is going to be able to throw the ball, run the ball, and Jonathan Stewart's just going to kind of be one of those middling performances is what I expect. One of those, sure, he might touch the ball, 20 times and get 60 yards, but, that's not going to win you weeks. So that's how I see it.
He's had 20 carries 4 consecutive weeks.
So Jonathan Stewart or LaShawn McCoy tonight?
LaShawn McCoy.
Jonathan Stewart.
I take Stewart.
Jonathan Stewart.
You want that? We got it.
WaterBet.
The best part of that is Jason has now bet against himself.
No, I know my rankings. I need to move Jonathan Stewart down in my rankings because when I did that, I hadn't done enough research on Tennessee's run defense, and the more that I looked at it, the less I like the matchup for Jay Stu.
Okay.
So I am fine with that.
Put it on the board.
I'm putting it in.
All right. What else do we need to talk about this game? You're starting Greg Olsen.
Yep.
Always.
You are starting Antonio Andrews.
Not Carolina.
Maybe you can maybe
you're
flex
backed into
him.
it.
You can maybe flex him.
All right. Anything else you guys want to talk about there?
Delaney Walker is a go for me.
Fresh off of his 2 touchdown performance.
Yeah, that's what I do. I chase those points.
Chase him. Hey, at tight end, you'd chase points.